on this 9th of February 2023. Thank you very much for taking your time to start your day with us here at Look Up TV. My name is Simba Kiage. It is Thursday for the rest of us, but a Friday for the man who's about to say good morning this morning, Keitany.
Yes, indeed. It's a Friday for me.
No, I don't want to wish. Why would I wish to be? Why would I wish to be Keitany?
We know you cannot accept that, but that's a fact.
Yeah? As anyway, as we wait for Keitany to come back on the air, here's the thing. A lot is happening around us, and we're going to put that into proper perspective. But then if you look at exactly what is trending in the economy now, by the way, NSSF contributions are back to 2,000 shillings. So meaning that employers are going to pay more and match your contributions to NSSF from 200 shillings than to 2,000 shillings, which will see you contribute around 1,000 and something shillings, which your employer then is also going to contribute about 1,000 plus. Again, we start today on a very high note. For Manchester United fans, I want to say, sorry, I told you yesterday. So the thing is, and you don't want to agree, when Casemiro is not playing or has not played out of the games that Casemiro is not played, put it into proper perspective. Nothing. Guys, I've got 4 out of what? A possible 15. So he's an integral member of your team. And I promise you this again. For the next 2 games, which you want me playing again in the league, I don't think you're going to score that much. So it's either you're going to lose or draw. And yesterday I said, again, it was going to be a draw, and it became out a draw. So, Ian Keitany, I'm getting ready for my breakfast this morning. If you want us to replay back that particular clip of where we're saying that you're going to draw, fine, we can play it. All right, getting ready for my breakfast. Java, to be specific. All right, here's the thing. We have him back, don't we? Come, defend yourself before we open the show this morning.
Thank you very much, Simba. You know, it's interesting how you're obsessed with Manchester United.
I'm not obsessed.
No, listen.
I'm not
listen,
obsessed.
No, listen.
I'm not obsessed.
There is no day without you talking about Manchester United. And of course, yesterday's call, I said there will be 4 goals. I mean, it went 2-2, so those are 4 goals, right?
Guys, can you stop?
Those are 4 goals.
No, can you stop?
Unless
Please.
you don't know mathematics,
Director,
those are 4 goals.
Please. Right? Before we end the morning drift today, I just want us to go back yesterday. Please, do us that favor. Take us yesterday to yesterday's clip, and we're going to do that from 9:30. Yes, please. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. No. Once we come to clean this show, because that's when we were supposed to go for breakfast, please take us back to what I said yesterday, and then he comes in and responds. Thank you very much. Let's start like that. Keitany, no need to waste time on it.
Okay,
well, we're going to have it played back.
No problem.
Then after that, you get to talk on it, isn't it? Thank you very much.
The director is finding that clip. And this is it. This is it. This is it. This is it. You know, just to add on that. Right now,
what you want to add?
Just listen.
I just don't get it.
No, just listen.
Yes.
To add on that, our focus.
Come on.
Listen, Simba. Listen, Simba.
Listen, let's do this.
Our focus is on a cup final.
What's wrong with you, Keitany?
We are preparing our team for a cup final.
Have I said no?
No,
I'm saying yes. But
listen.
What did you say yesterday?
Listen.
It's about what you said yesterday. It's not about what you're saying today.
Can I
yesterday
talk?
you
Can
said.
I talk?
But every time you open your mouth, and there are people who've watched you. They're saying, okay, let's give you your time.
Now listen. You know, when you're not in a final, you cannot relate.
Oh, come on.
No, just listen. You can only relate when you're in a final.
Here we go.
We are preparing for a final in like around a couple of weeks' time, even less than a couple of weeks' time. And, you know, for Arsenal fans, you're not in a final. You cannot relate. So
it's
for
us,
we're preparing for that.
It's not about Arsenal or Man United.
Listen.
It's about Man United right now.
Listen, of course, this is a big club. Arsenal fans will always keep on talking about Man United.
God.
Ever since I've been in this show, it is 3 weeks now. Every day in the morning, Man United. That's But good thing is, Jadon Sancho is back. Not only back with a goal, back with a bang. Our star boy is back. And by the way, Simba keeps on talking about Man United this, Man United that. Just for your information, this is Arsenal's best season. But guess what? Our star boy, our other star boy, Marcus Rashford, has more goal contributions than Bukayo Saka and Gabriel Martinelli combined.
Keitany, can we
you now jump to the
It's
news?
fine. I'm waiting for you to start your show so you can invite me so that I come up with facts and figures on it, but you're not going to start it. So
we
we
cannot invite...
It's fine. It's fine, Keitany. Either way, there's a lot happening as well. I just want to, just in 45 seconds, Keitany, I just want to pick your sentiments on what's going on in the country right now, other than the news about Manchester United drawing Leeds at Old Trafford. Matiangi's home was raided yesterday night by what is believed to be officers from the DCI. And Karen home, where Matiangi was domiciled for that period. Your quick sentiments on that before we open this morning?
I think Kenya is one country that operates in a very, very funny way. I mean, not only yesterday, we've seen this happen before, even when Matiangi was at the helm of the Ministry of Interior. And this is something that has been happening for a long time, and you fail to understand why. If someone has a mistake or if someone has done something wrong, why can't you guys go for him or after him during the day? Why would you wait until it's 11 p.m.
That's when
at night? That is when you go for someone. I mean, that in itself makes everything suspicious. Of course, we don't know the grounds that they wanted to arrest him but either way, I mean, it's quite an absurd time to go and arrest someone at his home. There's nothing as bad, Simba, as police appearing at your home at night.
At night, isn't it?
And even in front of your children. It's I don't know. Something needs to be done.
Something needs to be done. But then you wonder who's going to do it, because then we're going to talk about it again, Keitany, because it's one of the things that are trending this morning. We're going to delve deep into it so we see what different political leaders in the country are talking about this. For now, we take a tiny breather right here on the Morning Drift. Once we come back, I'll be taking you straight to the newsroom. I get to share with you some of the biggest stories that are headlining the economy today. Welcome back. Now, over 30 members of parliament allied to the Jubilee Party, which is among the parties who work with the Kenya Kwanza administration. And as Shanda Kareria now reports, the agreement was made during President William Ruto's meeting with the legislators who vowed to abandon their political rivalry and work with President Ruto.
It is a matter of time before the former President Uhuru Kenyatta's Jubilee Party updates its position in the Azimio One Kenya Coalition Party. This is after over 30 Jubilee elected MPs agreed to work with President William Ruto's administration. Despite their party being among the founder party of the Azimio Coalition, the agreement that might change the political mood in the country. In the second meeting between the President and the Jubilee lawmakers, within a period of 2 weeks, President William Ruto welcomed the MPs, some of whom they once shared the same party in the last administration, to his government. The MPs made a commitment to the President that they will work with trying to abandon their differences in support of the Kenya Kwanza government. However, as the Kenya Kwanza coalition continues to gain muscles, the opposition has continued to lose its allies to the government, thus creating doubts about its ability to keep the government in check. Wednesday meeting came few hours after President held another meeting between him and some ODM MPs at the State House. With a view of keeping their house in order, the Azimio leadership has convened a meeting in Machakos County. On Thursday, will owe its MPs to deliberate on the matter. The Azimio leaders have accused President William Ruto of weakening the opposition.
And allows one man to run the show, because all other parties have been denied an opportunity to inform any government agenda.
So when the president says that he expects a very robust opposition, he is lying to Kenyans because directed towards ensuring that they cripple political parties, especially the opposition political parties.
While welcoming the MPs in the government, Ruto asked them to join other Kenya Kwanza MPs and support him in pushing for government agendas in the parliament. Shedra Kareria, Look Up TV.
Former Educational Cabinet Secretary Professor George Magoha's procession moved around town with the songs and dances renting the air. Magoha's farewell caravan snacked its way to Kenya National Hospital, NEC and Starehe, concluding its Wednesday's procession at Starehe Boys Center ahead of the Requiem Mass slated for today. Henry Tender followed the caravan, and here is the report.
Early Wednesday morning at around 7 a.m., friends, colleagues and family members of the late Professor George Magoha pitched camp at Leaf in Rohom City in respect of the fallen academician. At around 9 a.m., Leaf in Rohom witnessed songs and dance led by family members visiting from Nigeria who were here to support their daughter, the late Magoha's wife. Then, his body was fetched from Leaf in Row premises and lowered gently in this vehicle, ready for the procession. Kenyatta Hospital was the first stopover for the caravan. The body was then taken to KMPDU, where Magoha worked as the chairman of the Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentists Board. The procession made its way to Nigerian embassy, where key figures from Nigeria paid their last respects to Professor Magoha. The caravan will then arrive at St. George's Primary, where students Magoha throughout his life demonstrated a great passion in furthering education in the country. From St. George's, the body of the late Magoha arrived at Kenya National Examinations Council. At around 1 p.m., his caravan arrived at the University of Nairobi, where he served for 10 years as the Vice-Chancellor. Later in the day, the caravan arrived at Starehe Boys Center, where Magoha undertook his secondary education. There was a colorful event marked by songs and dance mounted by Nigerian brothers in their tradition.
We want to use this avenue, to let Kenya know that we are part of them. You understand? I believe this kind of a thing have never happened in the history of Nigerians residing here. So this is an avenue to showcase our culture. This is an avenue to tell Kenya we believe in peace and unity. We are all Africans and we are together. To Kopamoja, like you people are saying.
Finally, his body was taken to his Lavington home, where he will spend the Consolata Catholic Shrine in Westlands on Thursday. It is here at Starehe Boys Center where the late Professor George Magoha defined the success of his adulthood, and as his remains make the last appearance here, the school will remain in the history of the nation as having produced one of the finest minds the country has ever produced. Henry Tende, Look Up TV, Starehe Boys Center, Nairobi.
I think Henry Tende lost his professional mic in the process of following the caravan. Yeah? Either way, the story's got to be told. Now, the East African Court of Justice has constituted a 5-judge bench for the hearing of former Nairobi Governor Mike Sonko's appeal on the Supreme Court ruling on his impeachment, with the hearing set for March 27th, as Ian Keitany now files.
Kome upheld the decision of the High Court and the Senate on the impeachment of Governor Mike Mbuvi Sonko. The first-time governor took his appeal to the East African Court of Justice, citing unfairness in the Nairobi-based court. The East African Court of Justice has today constituted a 5-judge bench set to hear the appeal, led by Gashuka Leonard, Johan Masara, Charles Nyawelo, Richard Muhumuza and Richard Wabwire. According to a press release by the Arusha-based court, the case will be heard on March 27th as from 9 a.m. in the morning. According to Mike Sonko, Said Chitemwe, the presiding judge at the High Court, who rendered the decision, was then currently facing a disciplinary tribunal over his removal as a result of receiving bribes and influencing the decision that resulted in his removal from office. Sonko now wants the East African Court to suspend the execution of the decision by the Apex Court in Kenya, pending a hearing and determination of the application, citing that the ruling curtailed his political rights and the people he represents.
Let's move on. Area, Meru County, accounting losses after a fire razed down their property, rendering them homeless. The cause of the fire is yet to be established. Abigail Shira files the following story.
Property of unknown value was destroyed after the fierce flames engulfed houses in Mafuko in Meru County. According to the area residents, more than 10 wooden houses were gutted down during the dawn inferno.
Kiwa kwangu nyumbani nimesikia maduru ya watu, kaona moshi mkubwa kuja, tukakuta nyumba zimeshika moto.
The cause of the fire is not yet established as the authorities begin the investigation to unravel what brought about the fire, even as the area residents call on authorities to revamp local roads to ease rescue operations in case of such incidents in the future.
Zimamoto hawakukawia, wamekuja haraka sana, lakini bahati mbaya ikawa hii sehemu moto ulikuwa kukuwa na njia. Bila kitambo wafika hapa manyumba nusu yote imekuwa imechomeka na vitu ya watu imechomekea ndani. Kile mimi ningeomba kungekuwa na njia, hii maneno yote ingekuwa hivyo.
The landlord of the building is now crying for help from the government to intervene.
Wakati nilikuwa kazini huku, nilipigiwa simu. Nikaambiwa nyumba imechomeka. Sasa wakati nilikuja hakuna kitu nimekuta. Kumechomeka. Ndio tunaambia serikali sababu kuna watu wengi sana wanakaa ndani hapa na wana pahali ingine. Serikali itusaidie na ya county au waweze kurudi pahali wana maisha yao.
Wale watu wengi hapa ni mazula, wengine hata wana kazi, wanaendanga ibarua wanarudi jioni, na hata leo sijui watalala wapi na wataishi wapi. Tunaomba hata serikali ya jimbo yetu ya Meru County pamoja na serikali kuu wanjaribu ingilia katikati kwa wale watu wanaishi hapa, waone kuna watoto wanaenda mashule. Kuna kibanda pale vitu yake imechomeka. Hapo hatujui kutaenda aje.
The residents have decried the state of the road leading to the area as it complicated rescue operations.
Hii barabara kuingia hapa imetatiza sana zimamoto. Meru County na serikali ya Meru County wamejaribu bahati kwa sababu ya barabara, hata nyinyi mnaangalia mnaona ile ngari mahali imeaziwa ni mbali sana na hakuna nyumba imeokolewa.
For Look Up TV, my name is Abigail Shira.
The prime suspect in the murder of Eldoret-based LGBTQ activist and fashion model Edwin Kiprotich Kiptoo, alias Chiloba Jackton Odhiambo, has pleaded not guilty. Odhiambo denied the allegation by the ODPP that he is the one who murdered the LGBTQ crusader. Cecilia Lubanga reports.
Murder of the LGBTQ crusader Edwin Chiloba has denied the charges of executing Chiloba's murder. While appearing before Eldoret High Court, Jackton told the court that he appeared in court not as a murderer but as a suspect. According to the charge sheet, Odhiambo allegedly committed the offense at Noble Breeze apartment, Chebisas area in Muiben sub-county, was in Gishu County.
Jackton Odhiambo alias Lisa, between the night of 31st December 2022 and the 3rd January 2023 at Noble Breeze apartments in Chebisas area, Muiben sub-county, in Uasin Gishu County, within the Republic of Kenya, you murdered Edwin Kiprotich Kiptoo, alias Chiloba.
4 other suspects were released after 21 days of investigations. This is after the court found no evidence linking them to the killing of Chiloba. The 3 minors, however, are to report to the DCI offices in Eldoret South for 3 months for purposes of The court ordered Odhiambo to undergo a mental evaluation before entering a plea on Wednesday. His lawyer, Mathai Maina, informed the court that he would apply for bond for the accused However, Chiloba's family lawyer Mitula Gilbert said they will also file documents opposing bail for the suspect. The late Chiloba was a fourth-year student at the University of Eldoret, pursuing a degree in apparel fashion and design. An autopsy by the government pathologist Johansen Odwar revealed that he died due to lack of oxygen. The case is set to be heard on February 16th to consider the supply of all documents to the parties involved. Cecilia Lubanga, Look Up TV.
A student has caused an uproar in a Kakamega town after threatening her father of committing suicide for failing to pay her school fees to join Form 1. With committing suicide. Melvin Masitsa presented the suicide letter to her father. Possibility of paying her school fee after garnering 319 marks in the 2022 KCPE examinations. John Mukoro reports.
It's a suicide letter that has left many astonished at the Kakamega bus station. Residents were shocked by Melvin Matista's decision of threatening her father Jared Misango, who is a matatu conductor, of committing suicide for failing to pay her fees to join St. Cecilia Mautama High School.
Nimekuja hapa ili babangu anisaidie, lakini jana nilikuja, babangu akanifukuza, akaniambia ana pesa. Nikikuja mara nyingine ananiambia tu ana pesa, niache kumsumbua. Nikamwambia mimi leo nakuja hapa mara mwisho, kama hutaki kunisomesha acha nikufe, unijue tu wewe una mtoto mwingine, niache kukusumbua.
Melvin says she has been in search of her father, who has been avoiding her since he divorced her mother, so as to quench her thirst for education and fulfill her dreams.
Mimi naweza kusoma shule yote, bora tu ni achieve my goals.
On his side, Melvin's father Jared has said he has tried all he can to educate his daughter, though he has not been successful since his job as a conductor cannot raise enough funds to send her to school, as he urges the government to intervene.
Nimekuwa na mtoto msichana, alifanya mzuri sana, nikasaidiwa na sikusaidiwa na serikali na majirani. So naomba serikali, huyu msichana mwingine amefanya mzuri sana, Melvin Masita amekuwa na maksi 316. Nimejaribu, sina mpaka kuku kwa nyumba. Nimejaribu pesa yoyote nipate kwa mfuko mtoto yangu asome. Nimeshindikana.
This coming as many students across the country are struggling to join secondary schools out of financial constraints.
Na nilipata max 377, lakini naitwa Kakamega, mnazoona hapa ndio Kakamega, niliitwa hapo. Wazazi sasa hajiwezi, ndio unaona hadi tumekuja na kuku. Labda tukipata nafasi tunaweza kubaliwa kutuingia Kakamega.
Kuna ambaye alikuwa anashughulikana na mimi, sasa mimi mwenyewe nilijamaa kuja huku nitafute msaada. Mzazi mamangu alikufa na baba. Nimetembea kutoka Shivanga from 4 a.m. up to now. I reached at, I think it was 9 a.m. Napenda kuambia kwamba kama mimi nataka kusoma sana, niko na moyo kusoma sana. Nikihitimu masomo ningependa kuwa engineer.
John Mukora, Look Up TV.
All right. Keitany, the stories of, it's nothing that the government will come straight in and address these issues of students who are lacking fee to join secondary schools. And it's not something that we talk about now, and I promise you, if we're here next year, again, at this particular period, we'll be talking about students who can't go to school just because they've missed the resources to take them to school. The same stories we've done here at Look Up TV of students who have above 400 marks, above 300 marks, but they're ready to go back to primary school, repeat, as their parents cannot afford to take them to school. Keitany, it's a heartbreaking story. I'd like to think as a nation we'll prioritize our agenda at this time when we're talking about these stories. there's a discord within the government. We are not really focusing on that. We're talking about different things in the country. Do you think that would ever come to the end of this kind of news?
Rightly put it, that we need to get our priorities right as a country. And this is the reason as to why we have local or grassroots leaders, the members of county assemblies, members of parliament. And I talked about this early in the week when we were talking about matters, the Constituency Development Fund. These are the students who need to be accorded these funds. Because, if we have bursaries for students who are needy, and at the same time you have a student who's trekking more than 40 kilometers just to go to school, not to report per se, but to request. To be allowed to study because they don't have fees. It's really, really sad. And I'll repeat again, it is embarrassing on the part of the government. We see government officials every day, up and down. They say, even the Education Cabinet Secretary, and this is something that they need to address as soon as possible, because we cannot be going to schools here in Nairobi, on admissions, when we have students in the grassroots level, different counties, who are struggling to pay school fees. This is not school fees for Form 4 Simba, for Form 3, joining Form 1
and 3.
We are 4 years ahead of them, yet they can't afford to pay the first term of their first year in high school. It is embarrassing as a country. We have funds allocated to help the students, but sadly, they don't get to them. And you ask yourself, where do the funds end? And this is something that I'd plead with the president, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, to really intervene, because he himself is a man who says he came from nothing to something. He was once a chicken seller. He understands these problems. He needs to come out and address these issues, not necessarily directly, but through the right channels, through the Ministry of Education. At the end of the day, like we always say, these school kids are the future leaders. And if we cannot prioritize and help them get proper education, then I'd actually say we are doomed as a country.
Anyway, here's the thing. We take a tiny breather right here. The morning drift one. Keitany and I will be right here so we can get to share with you some of the headlines that are making news on your dailies this morning. And Look Up TV across all your social media platforms. That's where we are. Once we come back, newspaper review.
Are you a junior secondary school, a college, a TVET institution, or a university, and you want to advertise your intake? Book now and advertise with us today on both Look Up TV and all our digital platforms. Call us today on 011 0430 158, 011 0430 158, or email us on sales@lookuptv.co.ke.
What's going on? Niko na rafiki yake Musa.
Adam.
Huyu msichana wa watu, wewe umempangia nini?
Nani? Lazima tujue kwa jambo linalofuatia kwetu ni ndoa. Nini?
Ndoa yetu.
Doris, unaongea nini?
Pia vile hii kazi ya kadhalika ni muhimu. Sitoshi. Kuna mtu hivi sasa anatafuta atakula nini leo?
Mama, nimesoma mama, nimehitimu mama, na vyeti vyote. Kwa nini naishi maisha kweli?
Wewe si family hapa. Kuzaa si kama kwenda haja.
Jamal!
Today we are at Precious Children's Home here at Dawn Home, and we've come to give out some food donations and have a good time with the children over some lunch.
My name is Jennifer Njeru, the director of this children's home.
Tell us a bit about the children's home. How many kids do you have here?
Okay, I started this home in 2015 with about 6 kids. Some are orphans, some of them are from those needy families. Yes. And then I get them through the chief, the pastors, and friends who know about them. Yeah, I have 23 right now in the home. Okay, and then I have 5 in high school who are not here with us. You brought us lots of food, we didn't have food, we only had 1 bale of unga bugari, which only takes 3 days. It will be through, but the food that you brought us is a lot. We are so happy, extra happy. And may you continue coming.
So of course, remember 25% of your Lotto ticket goes towards the Lotto Foundation, helps different charities across the nation.
Okay. So thank you so much to our players. We are able to do this because of you, so we are very thankful.
Every time you play Lotto, 25% goes to the Lotto Foundation, which supports our fellow Kenyans through various causes. Thank you for your help. Together, we are changing lives.
So in
that's
short,
why.
In short, leo najua utatupatia tips.
Safi kabisa. Yes.
But then afa kutoka hiyo
safi ya.
So unataka kuniambia nitumie akili nisitumie nguvu.
Wewe ndio umesema.
Wewe ndio unajipanga.
Mimi nijipange.
Mimi nimekupatia ingredients. Bro. Unataka ikuwe na supu tena. Si ni unachemsha ama
nikuchemsha.
Ndio unaona sauti yangu hizi zima gas.
Wewe hata nyoka hizi toka pangoni. Mfano kama nyoka ifentie huko ndani.
Ati Alex alikuwa na shida ya drinki. Juu pia pale kwa Ampits
welcome back to the Morning Drifts. My name is Simba Kiage. You can join us online at Look Up TV across all your social media platforms. And I'm not alone right now. Ian Keitany is with us this morning. Ian Keitany.
Yes, we are, here yet again to let the viewer understand and just to get a clear picture of what is on the local dailies today. And of course, a lot has been happening. And I don't know if we'd start with the Daily Nation, Simba?
Yeah, let's jump right in.
Yeah, of course, on the Daily Nation, the front page is whatever we talked about earlier in the show, and that is about it says Matiang'i under police siege. Now, a night of long knives. Former Interior Minister Fred Matiang'i was a man under siege last night amid reports the police had raided his home in Karen, Nairobi. The reason for the siege, however, was not immediately clear. And this is something that we've been talking about. What is it with night arrests in this country? And like I said, regardless of whatever anybody has done, because up to now, by the way, nobody has come out clearly to say this is what Matiang'i did. Yeah. He flaunted such and such a rule, and this was against or in contravention of whatever article in the Constitution, and it is really, really sad. Regardless of whatever side of the political divide you are in, because we all know former Interior CS, that is Fred Matiang'i, was very vocal when he was the Interior CS, very vocal against the current president, Dr. William Samuel Ruto. And ask yourself, is all this, political witch hunt? Is it an issue of revenge? Or are there genuine concerns in regards to police raiding his home. And of course, there are reports that the officers were from ESCC. A report that the ESCC chairperson, that is Mbarak, denied. He said the raid had nothing to do with ESCC, and of course now that leaves a mark, or leaves the government on the spot again on what exactly transpired, who exactly are these officers, who sent them, and what was the aim of them raiding or appearing at the former CS's current home at that time of the hour.
The question is going to be, Keitany, even as we weigh in on this particular developing news, President William Ruto has had, even before him ascending to this particular position of now being the President of the Republic of Kenya, he's been vocal about the way he was treated. I mean, even before him ascending to this particular position, he actually did warn the likes of Matiang'i that, look here, power could be in your shoe right now for you to feel that you can do whatever it is that you want. But then a time will come when that particular shoe that you have on will be on the other side. From a standpoint, from us journalists, when you look at this, it is just in black and white terms, just Ruto going back to his word, isn't it? So the question we're asking is, how does this settle well with the political climate in the country? Do you think it's okay for the government or the president, I mean, we can call it that, for the president to actually now do whatever he's doing?
And I'll really wait to see or to hear from the government on what was the reason of the arrest.
I don't think there's gonna.
Because
I don't think there's gonna be. Keitany, do we expect that actually somebody from the government, either ESCC, but you see ESCC is already saying, well, those are not our officials, so who is that?
Whether they
I don't think it's going to be.
Whether they come out directly to address that issue or not, we are certain. And this is what Dunstan Omari said yesterday, because he appeared at Matiang'i's home in Karen, of course, alongside Nyaberi and, of course, former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. And he said they got orders from former President Uhuru Kenyatta to head to the court this morning to seek anticipatory bail against all former CSS. And of course, if this is something that ends up in court.
And that, Keitany, I'm sorry to jump in, is it? You see, it is anticipatory bailout, isn't it? What is that telling you?
But again, we in my own opinion, we cannot, at the end of the day, call on, what is the reason for the officers appearing in his home.
But you see, former President Uhuru Kenyatta has already called it. It's like, well, it's going to come for you, for all of you people who are in my government.
They're anticipating, Simba.
Yeah, they are anticipating.
Yes.
And rightly so. Can't you see then, Keitany? Rightly so. So when at 11 p.m. in the night, when Matiang'i's home is getting raided, you'd rather then anticipate that it is coming your way. So let's go and get those anticipatory bailouts, which is the question that I'm asking. Keitany, at this time, when we are fighting, number one, highest inflation numbers in the country, the worst drought in decades in the country, is there a time when this could be a drive from the government that has barely been in office for 6 months?
At the end of the day, and let's not get this twisted, it is actually very wrong for the government to do that. And we all know whatever transpired during Matiang'i's tenure at the helm of the Ministry of Interior. And there were many court injunctions and there were many court orders that the government of that day failed to adhere to. Now you ask yourself, are all this connected to that or political witch hunt? And if it is the latter, then it is very, very wrong. And that is where the government needs to get its priorities right. Because there are a lot of things happening in the country. Like you said, there's inflation, the high cost of living. There's so many things to handle. we shouldn't be engaging in sideshows, because at the end of the day, what matters, whether you were, whether anything was done against your will or against your wish by those who were in power then, getting back at those people who were in power at that time is not the way forward. Whatever was done was done. It is time to move forward.
Let's move on forward with building the country, building the nationalism.
But again, being in power shouldn't mean you oppress other people. Just do whatever is required of you at the end of the day. Don't go after people. Don't oppress people. If people are supposed to be, arrested and arraigned, do that rightfully. Do it in the right manner. Follow the right procedures. Follow the side issues.
And that's what we saw the former Prime Minister, Raila Amolo Odinga, say. Well, he said, I'm going to be here until the clear charges of why Dr. Matiang'i's house is getting raided are clear. It's that. And the courts then come picking up Matiang'i, then that's fine. But until that is done, we're going to be here. Isn't it?
Yes, and I was going through my, my feed on Twitter, and various leaders were expressing, their opinions on the matter. They were weighing in, and of course, the Kenya Kwanza Island members, led by the likes of the Senator for Nandi County, that is Samson Cherargei, talking about how he was also hounded by officers who was sent by Matiang'i when he was the Minister for Interior, and that now he should, feel the wrath of the same officers used to address or to, arrest him while he was in power, which I do believe is the right thing to do. But of course, we'll wait and see what happens today morning, because that is as well a developing story here in the capital, Nairobi.
Pretty much. And any other story that the Daily Nation has prioritized on the front page?
Yeah, definitely. Just two more stories. Of course, today we also know that Raila Odinga will be, holding crisis talks with Azimio leaders in Athi River. I believe that is in Machakos County, and this is after there's a cold war in the Azimio wing. There's a perceived rebellion. Yesterday we saw 30 members of parliament from the Jubilee Party, which is an affiliate party of the Azimio la Umoja coalition. They were in State House. They clearly said they've jumped ships.
And they want to work with the
support the government, led by, of course, Sabina Chege, the nominated Senate member of Parliament, the likes of Keitany Kiage, and of course Simba. I must tell you, I saw this coming. The moment Keitany Kiage was elected into the East African Legislative Assembly, his speech after his election, clearly this was bound to happen.
Yeah, because I remember he started saying that I expected some people from Azimio to support me, but they did not. He started blaming, started backbiting immediately. Some people from this coalition to come in and support me, but then they did not. Now it's time for me to chart my way. The question, though, is, and that's the question that we've been asking, do you think President William Ruto is opening the doors for absolute power? Keitany, we're going to ask that question as a newsroom, isn't it? Because why, all of a sudden, we've seen him raiding it wide matters. He's gone to the back door of the ODM party. He's taking out what you say, the town Jubilee members now out of that particular party to work with him as well. Is that what is marching towards? Absolute power?
It would
like for it to be like that, isn't it?
Definitely. Every other person in that particular state would want that. They do it an easy way, but it of course come out again and say, I want you to keep me in check. But at the same time, we'll keep you in check if you the other political divide to bring them, bring them into the government fold. But again, we saw leaders like the Langata MP, of course, Felix Odiwuor or Jalango. By the way, yesterday, after he visited President William Ruto in State House the previous night, he was on a local radio station, and they said whether Raila Odinga would have sanctioned him to go to see President William Ruto or not, he'd still have gone, regardless. Because to him, the people of Langata And this is exactly what he said. The people of Langata do not care who is president and who's not. They want development. And he goes on ahead, he went ahead to say that he'll be attending the rally tomorrow in Mavoko, in Machakos County. And Simba, I'll only wait to see the reception he'll get.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. But, Junet Mohammed says it's just normal housekeeping business. And of course, we'll wait and see what happens. Be following up that story for you and see what happens. We also do understand that the likes of former Governor 001, Ali Hassan Joe, who's been seen on the socials in different countries across the world, will be attending that particular rally. So we'll see what Raila Odinga is up to in his, housekeeping business meeting, like he says, or crisis talks, like other people would like to say, Simba.
Pretty much. Right, I'll beg that we move on to the Standard this morning. Again, the same stories that we've seen covered by the Daily Nation this morning also takes center stage on the Standard. If we could actually just pull it up so we can get to look at it together. This one is saying, that same story that we spoke about this morning is the one that has been covered there. You can see the headline, rates rooftop power onslaught on Uhuru, Raila base. And the kicker, again, is that President William Ruto has gone on overdrive, decimating opposition numbers in Parliament, a move that has raised question given that majority have sworn allegiance to him. Interesting reader right there. Read that story on pages 6 and 7 of the Standard, and that is exactly what has sort of led to the opposition, Azimio. They'll be holding a crisis talks, just like Keitany is spoken about today in Athi River, just to talk about how to run their party. We've seen a lot of defections, a lot of complaints. We did see even the chairman, isn't it, saying that he's ready to resign as the ODM party chair. So you see a lot of conversations in between this particular party, which is why then the question of whether Ruto is driving into absolute power is exactly what is the conversation point here. So it's a developing story. We'll be following on it, and so we'll be giving you that update as it goes by. Same on the Daily Nation has also been covered by the Standard on the accord that the respect that former CS, the late Professor George Magoha was given yesterday in his procession as he really as his body visited the various positions that were representative of where he has worked, the service that is given to the nation. I don't know, Keitany, whether you would comment about whether indeed it befitted a state procession.
You know what? Of course, it befitted someone who's been a state officer. But what caught my eye is the Nigerians who were in that procession, and they made everything look easy. They were dancing. They were very, very happy. And of course, like they say, we all mourn when people die. We are sad that people have left us. But at the end of the day, it's about celebrating the life they lived, celebrating that they, and for someone like Magoha, impacted millions of people across the country, especially students. So it was an event that was filled with pomp and color, and regardless of the fact that it was a funeral procession. But again, what do we say? We, of course, celebrate the late Professor Albert George Omoro Magoha, and we, of course, again, will be following up on the Requiem today that will be held at the Consolata Shrines here in Westlands, Nairobi.
All right, another story that has been also covered right here on page 19 of the Standard is that the government has actually now fulfilled its promise to deliver cheap fertilizer to farmers in the country. A lot of lines that were witnessed at the National Cereals and Produce Boards across the country as farmers then rushed to get the fertilizer. Also interesting that learning is yet to start in some grade 7 classes. Read that story on page. Now they're saying causes of delays range from a lack of teachers and facilities to not understanding the new curriculum. Others include management and finances. Keitany, interesting story there. So let me just get you some of the what I've noted from here, that even separate uniforms and more subjects is also some of the reasons as to why this particular program has gone into confusion, to the point that even the kids themselves don't understand what even the curriculum is. Some teachers also are now just getting started on the curriculum. Interesting, Keitany, that weeks, it's now 2 weeks, isn't it, after they reported that learning is yet to start in some of this particular classes.
Yeah, definitely. And talking about different school uniforms, talking about, more subjects, again, there's a question of were teachers trained or subjects, because we've seen various schools trying to, as well bring the parents on board to make them understand all these new subjects and make them know what their students are being taught. Now, whether the government, rolled out all this when they were fully prepared or not is not the question as per now, because the program is already ongoing. The question is, what are they doing to address the challenges faced so far? And if the teachers were trained or not. The question is, if at all they were not trained, what happens to the students? Because if at the end of the day, a teacher just finds a book, he has to peruse through the book, try and understand himself or herself, and then go relay the same to the student, it puts our education system on the spot again.
Just quickly, this morning, there's a story here that has been also done by the Standard of how you need to beware with the hot weather. It comes with many diseases. They're saying that even snakes now can hide in your home. Wild animals can actually hide in your home as they run away from the hot weather that is being occasioned by the current state of affairs in the country. And they're saying that drink a lot of water, 4 liters per day, even if you're not fasting. So they keep on making sure that you follow that. I meant to understand we don't have the business daily this morning. Can we just jump into it so that we can then clear on it? And there's a very interesting story there about the business daily that indicates how Ruto has allocated Uhuru hefty allowances. To be specific, Keitany, 78.5 million in retirement parks. Now, Kenyatta's parks that are 6 times larger than Kibaki's payback. 2.49 million. Purchase of vehicles, 140 million. Others, 121.68 million. Employee wages, 75.51 million. Refreshments, wow, 55.32 million. Office furniture, 50 million. Car maintenance, 50 million. Total, 665.32 million. These guys are friends, aren't they?
Exactly what I wanted to say, because now it brings the debate again to the political podium, and you ask yourself, on one side, the president is really castigating the former president, matters payment of tax and all that. I mean, they are throwing words at each other, but on the other hand, that is a huge amount of money.
Is that 6 times more than what the former Kibaki used to get?
Simba. Refreshments, 50 million.
50 million? Well, hold on. How do we define refreshments?
Refreshments,
it's interesting here. Refreshments. What's the definition of refreshments?
In this context, I defy you to someone.
Where's Sema Bwana?
Where fanya aje Simba? See, you're on Twitter.
Yeah.
The former head of state had a nickname. Just go there and you'll relate. Refreshments in this context.
But then it's interesting, Keitany, because they're saying here Treasury had earlier omitted the benefits in the budget. So it's after review, by the way. This mini budget that we're getting represented, that is getting presented to us, is the one that included this. 50 million. Furniture, 50 million. Wow. 50 million worth of furniture in his office. I'll tell you that. Even others, Keitany, that's where the conversation point becomes. 121.68 million, to be specific. Whoa. Like, they're not included, it's just in others' docket.
Now, Simba, I want you to know one thing. And this is the reason as to why I told you I want to join politics.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I want to be a politician. All these sparks, I'll be getting...
Yeah?
2037.
2037?
Yes.
Keitany, that's a bit far.
It's not far.
As, what position? Member
You know, I'm not going straight to, you know, a very high set.
So 20...
My plan is, if God allows, 2032, I vie for the Member of Parliament set.
Which constituency?
Kenya North constituency, back in Elgeyo Marakwet County.
Who's the current Member of Parliament from there?
He's a very young lad.
What's that?
Very, very cool gentleman called Adam Kipsanai.
You think that will be your main competitor?
I really don't think so. I do believe the guy has the ability to, you know, become, go for other sets, because he's a very brilliant young man, very visionary leader, and I believe at some point in time, the guy might end up being the governor of Elgeyo Marakwet County.
Yeah, so, all this in the name of getting the benefits, isn't it?
It's not about the benefits, it's about service delivery. It's about service delivery, Simba. But I just want to, you know, take us back to the nation. Just for who I want to talk about.
Okay.
LeBron James. Now, LeBron James...
In 1 minute, we're getting kicked out.
Broke the record for the most points in the NBA.
Okay.
A record that has been standing for 39 years. 39 years, Simba. Must you, and that, you know, it's worth noting that LeBron James is 38 years. So the record has been standing for 39 years. Even, the record is there even before LeBron James was born. And the record was set by his fellow Lakerman, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who had a total of 38,387 points. Now, LeBron James surpassed that yesterday. He now is the leader with 38,388 points. This is a man whose career is very, very decorated, and he has 4 NBA titles. Won it in 2012, 2013, 2016 with the Cleveland Cavaliers, and in 2020 with the Lakers. This is a man who was in Cleveland Cavaliers, was born, of course, in Akron, in Ohio State, in the United States of Miami Heat, which was one of the biggest teams then. And of course, the fans back in Ohio, that is the Cleveland Cavaliers fans, were very furious. In fact, they burnt his jerseys. Then won the NBA title in 2013 and 2012 and 2013 and you know, the Miami Heat. And then he went back. He said he's going back home to bring the title back home in 2016. And he promised. And he delivered. He won the title single-handedly. Of course, it was the likes of Kevin Love, of course, Kyrie Irving, but he single-handedly knocked out the Golden State Warriors, you understand? And after winning that title, he moved to the Lakers, which is arguably the biggest franchise in the NBA, and he promised the Laker Nation that he will win them the NBA title. And he delivered. Won it in 2020 during the COVID-19 period. This is a man who's won the NBA title. He's kept his promise for the Laker Nation. He's now a Laker legend. Apart from being a Cleveland Cavalier legend, he has the most points in the NBA. The greatest player of all time, because it's now between Michael Jordan, MJ, if you like, and LBJ, LeBron James. But in my own opinion, your guess is as good as mine.
Pretty much.
Michael Jordan is not the greatest of all time.
The God himself.
LeBron James is.
All right. We take a tiny breather right here on the Morning Drift. Once we come back, then the bigger conversation this morning, we're asking, can you live normal with epilepsy? It's Thursday. Let's talk health once we come back.
Vera Beauty and Fashion College is focused and a vocational training institute in the region. Our team possesses in-depth knowledge and extensive experience in the industry, offering thorough training in cosmetology, hairdressing, interior design, creative arts, training of trainers,